My name is Michelle. This is not the first time I give my testimony. This is not the first time that I stand in this church. I was born and raised here in Iberia. I was baptized right here in the front of this church. So therefore, this is very difficult. Nothing is too difficult for God. I made my first communion here. I had my first confession here. I went through all the sacraments. I loved God. I knew God loved me. I knew abortion was wrong, but it was legal. So in my mind, I justified that if the law says it's okay, then it must be safe. And in my mind, the way I could justify going through with the abortion was to convince myself that it was just a blob of tissue. I did not tell the father of the baby. I made the choice myself, and I had the abortion thinking that I'd come back and I would just be the same person. I would just be on my period. I would not be pregnant. So instead of, I didn't know about a pregnancy center. Instead, I went to the Delta Women's Clinic. And not only did I leave my baby there, I left a big part of my heart there. And after that, I did not want to come back to this church because I felt like Father Durand said, it's a horrible, terrible sin. It's murder. And I felt like God did not love me. I knew that He did. Since I was a baby, I knew. I prayed every single night with my family. But I was deceived. And I'm not going to say it's anybody's fault except Satan. And it was my choice to have the abortion. And I stuffed it for many, many years. And God, I'm very hyper and needy if anybody knows me. And He took me not out of the city, He took me across the country, to another country, to Indonesia. And we moved to Balikpapan, and I had 2 children. I was very, very blessed that God allowed me to have children after my abortion. And my son was born on Christmas Day, and that was the biggest blessing to me, that he shared the same birthday with Jesus. My daughter was born a year later. When they were 2 and 3, we moved to Indonesia. And I still thought I was fine. You know, I was okay, I was dealing with it. There was nothing I could do about it, and I felt like I was okay, but I wasn't. And God just started showing me the areas in my heart, so many things that I needed to deal with. And just showing me the character of God and His Word, how He is a God of love and not condemnation. And then I had to deal with the relief and the denial stage of my abortion. The huge part of it was the anger. The anger I had towards myself, towards God, because I felt like, you're on the throne, you're in charge, allow me to get pregnant. A lot of anger towards the father of the baby. So with that anger, they call it anger turned inward, becomes depression. So dealing with that, and then accepting the fact that I did choose to have an abortion. And I had to realize that it was a boy or a girl, and I had many dreams of a little boy that looked like the father of the baby. And so I named him because it was not an it. Like people want to think that it's an it, it's just a blob of tissue, it has no heartbeat. That's all lies. And I named my son Joshua David. And this took 7 years, almost 7 years. In 1999, I finally just accepted the fact that I had an abortion, but I accepted His forgiveness. And that's the key, and that is the hope, to accept His forgiveness, that He died on the cross for not only all our other sins, but also for abortion. That's the message that God told me. I died for not just all your other sins, Michelle, but for the abortion too. And it was hard to accept that. And I did in 1999. I felt like God really told me, Michelle, what I've done for you over these last 6 years, I want to do for everybody. I want you to go and tell other people what I've done to you, so I can do that for them. And that's when He put the calling in my heart. And I can relate to Father Madrin's
speaking of the death, and I was able to go to Israel in 2000 on a trip, and I went to the Holocaust Museum. And yes, I do know that they call it the Holocaust for the unborn, but I went to the Holocaust Museum. It was a very horrible feeling. You just hear the names of people over and over, and all I could think of was that's the names of babies that have been aborted. But with that trip, I also stood in the Garden of Gethsemane, and I cannot tell you the experience that I felt of God's love and His presence, and at the Holy of Holies, at the wall, the Wailing Wall. And it was just like such a complete, awesome gift for me to be able to go to Israel where Jesus was and walk on the streets where He walked. And then God moved us to Texas in 2001, and I thought, okay, I say yes, God. I want to answer your call. I want to do what you want to do. I didn't know how. And then I heard on the radio about what's going on now, the world's largest baby shower, crisis pregnancy center. And I thought, if I would have known about that, I could have called one of those. I didn't even know that it existed. So I called and became a counselor. And almost every woman that I would get in the counseling room either wanted to have an abortion or had had one or more abortions. And I felt in my heart, God kept telling me, I need you to do what I've called you to do. So I went and I got trained, and I started doing counseling in a group. And I use a curriculum called Forgiven and Set Free. So this 8 weeks the 9 weeks we meet, and the 8 sessions that we work on are the things that I told you earlier: the character of God, relief and denial, the anger and the depression, acceptance, and then finally they're set free. And I led probably 5 or 6 groups in Texas, and I'm telling you, these women are set free. And so if you had an abortion, if you asked someone to have an abortion, pay for it, encourage, know someone who had an abortion, I'm here to do what God has asked me to do, to let you know that there is forgiveness in Jesus Christ, there is healing, and there is freedom. And we don't have to be in bondage any longer. And we don't have to be silent about this, and I will not. Because abortion hurts not only women, it hurts the men, it hurts families, it hurts everybody. And not only do I pray for the end of abortion, I pray for women to come forward and to get healed, and for men to come forward and get healed. And I ask that you pray with me. The ministry that God has given to me is Tears to Treasures, and I'm starting it in February. And I ask for your prayer. I really do. For God brought me all the way, not only from this church 44 years ago, back here, brought me across the country, back to Louisiana, to stand here and tell you that we need to reach out to those who are hurting. They need forgiveness, they need healing. And I ask that you pray with me. Thank you so much. I just pray that God will bless all of you.